Sup everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today I actually want to talk about Arknights Endfield. As you guys know, this is the brand new gacha that's developed by Graphline, and so far it's quite interesting. I spent quite a good amount of time with the game already, and while I have not passed the game yet, I wanted to share my honest first impressions about what I love of the game, what I think that needs, and yeah, who I think this is for. So let's get right into the video. Okay, I want to first start talking about the story. So, as I said before, I have not finished the story so far, so keep that in mind, but overall, I am really enjoying it. Yes, it plays into a trope that many other games have, like, yes, you play as this super powerful guy that has lost his memories and has to uncover his past and all of that. So we've seen this many times in other games. However, I think that the thing that Enfield does really good is how it allows you to get immersed into the game. So I actually found myself super invested into the game, and a big reason for this is how the story is presented and how it is supported by the world. So you're not just dealing with one unified group. There's like multiple factions, like the Enfields, you have the Landbreakers, etc. Every one of them has different motivations, conflicts, and yeah, that makes the world feel quite alive. And now I want to talk about something that also helps you get super invested into the world, and it's the aesthetics. To me, this is probably the strongest point in Enfield, and that's the world and the visuals. So listen to me, guys. The game looks so freaking stunning. Genuinely, it's one of the best looking games that I've seen so far in my life. And I'm not talking only about gacha games. I'm talking about games in general. The fact that this is a completely free-to-play game, it's kind of insane. So the setting is in a post-apocalyptic world, and it's mixed with futuristic technology. And besides that, matching the world's aesthetic, of course, you have the character's design, which is another huge highlight, in my opinion. So every character feels super distinct. Talking about design, of course, but not only about that, also in its personality, they don't feel like gacha units, and this is something that I also feel about this game. I don't really feel it like a gacha. When I'm playing it, I feel like I'm playing a game like Nier Automata, I'm playing a game like Xenoblade Chronicles, etc. Continue with the units, they feel like individuals with their own motivations, their own beliefs, their own roles, etc. I think the game does really well introducing you to each one of the individual characters. Even if we still have a relatively small lineup so far, about 20 characters, my personal favorite so far is Ibone. I love the character, she seems super funny, and I cannot wait to get her to play. But I also love characters like Perlika. She seems really interesting from the beginning. I like Abigwen a lot. She looks super funny, and I like her gameplay a lot. Right now, it's the character that I'm playing the most. I like Vulgard. I like Last Rite. So again, as I've said before, they feel alive, and most importantly, they feel like they belong in this world, which is something that sometimes you don't see in other gacha games. Okay, now let's talk about one of the most important things in every game, and that is the combat system. So I'll be honest, I'm still trying to figure out all about the system because it's quite complex, but my first impression is actually quite positive. It feels quite unique. I think they've done a really good job with how elements interact with each other, like how positioning matters, and Abiwana, for example, is the best example of this, of the positioning. How the team comps feel like it already feels important to match the correct characters with each other, even though the roster is so small. What excites me the most is I think I see a lot of potential in this combat system. You can already see some really cool interactions, like with the elements, with the skills that each character has. My favorite one again is Abiwena and Perlika, so that's why I like them so much too. So this is just the beginning. So I honestly cannot imagine how deep this combat system can go once the roster expands, like in a year or 2 years from now. So far I'm having a lot of fun, cannot wait to try more about it. Okay, now not everything could be good about this game, so let's get into, in my opinion, the worst part of the game, the most complicated thing. And so my biggest criticism to this game is the fact that it drowns you with so much information from the beginning on, in particular, one specific mechanic, but you could add others here too. And that is, of course, the factory. So in the first 4 or 5 hours, you get introduced to a ton of extremely important mechanics, how it works, what you have to do, etc. The thing is, none of this is that complicated once you understand it, but I mean, when you start playing a game, you want to play it, right? You don't want to sit 3 hours reading text, trying to understand how it works, a mechanic that should be a side mechanic to it. But at the same time, that's super important. Otherwise, your characters are not going to progress correctly. You're not going to have enough resources. So nobody wants to finish a 10-hour shift on their job, then go back home and start reading text for 2 hours to understand how a simple mechanic works. So I think this is really an area where the game could have done a better design, especially in how they introduce it gradually to the character and how they make it easier for the players to understand how it works. the best thing about this, and the good thing is that once it clicks, it's quite manageable, and you can even check other players' presets to apply this, so you don't even have to know that much about the mechanic. Once you advance a bit into the game, you just need to make friends. Right? Lastly, I want to talk about the gacha mechanics, because unlike all the games in which the gacha is super similar, I'm talking about all of the Hoyo games, I'm talking about Wuthering Waves, etc., this is a bit different. So the banner system works a little bit different from all of these gachas. And the most important thing you guys need to know is that the pity in promotional banners does not carry to the next promotional character, which may sound bad, and it's not great, don't get me wrong. However, there is a guaranteed at 120 pulls, so if you have not gotten your characters at that number of pulls, you will get it, which is less expensive than Hoyo, for example, which is 160, or Wuthering Waves, which is about 150. If you can save enough pulls, like this 120 pulls, and commit to it, it's actually cheaper and easier to get characters than in other games. The weapon system is also much more forgiving. Getting a weapon for a character you like is cheaper compared to other gacha games. They give you the pulls for the weapon banner while pulling for the character banner. And where things get a bit rough in this sense is if you're a person that likes to invest a lot into a single character. Because if you want to get dupes, it's actually more expensive than any other games. Actually, you gotta spend up to 240 pulls to get a dupe for a 6-star character. So in my opinion, the game is fantastic for low spenders, and if you are a whale that wants to invest a lot into the game, bad for you, I'm sorry. So, TLDR, my overall thoughts. Overall, the game has impressed me. I have liked it a lot. As I've said, it's super stunning. It immerses you a lot. The story looks super good. It's super ambitious. And I think it's built with long-term vision because we have really few characters so far, and the foundation is super strong. So I'm genuinely excited to keep playing the game, learn more about the combats. As I've said, I'm gonna keep trying the game, and I'm gonna try to learn more about it. Maybe you guys get more videos about it. But yeah, let me know if you actually are interested into this game. If you think I should make more videos, and that's been about it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.